Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm Revi Ardandi, and this is my mid test, phonetic. And number one, morpheme. Open mid back rounded vowel. Its roundedness is a product, which means that the corner of the lips are down together, and the inner surface exposed. Its vowel height is open mid, which means the tongue is positioned halfway between an open vowel, a low vowel, and mid vowel. Its vowel backness is a back, which means the tongue is the portion that is the mouth without the creating construction that will be classified as a consonant. A closer from unrounded vowel is a vowel height is close, also known as height, which means the tongue is positioned close to the roof of the mouth without creating a contraction that will be classified as a consonant. It is unrounded, which means that the lips are not rounded. Is a vowel backness is a frown, which means the tongue is positioned forward in the mouth without creating a contraction that will be classified as a consonant. The example is meal, meat, or milk. And number two, morphology. Open mid back the rounded vowel. Its roundness is produced, which means that the corner of the lips are drawn together and the inner surface exposed. Is a vowel backness is a back, which means the tongue is positioned back is the mouth without creating the correction that will be classified as consonant. Its vowel height is an open mid, which means the tongue is positioned outward between open vowel, a low vowel, and mid vowel. Open back rounded vowel. O. Its vowel height is often also known as low, which means the tongue is positioned far from the roof of the mouth that is low in the mouth. Its vowel backness is a back, which means the tongue is phoneted back in the mouth without creating a contraction that will be classified as the consonant. It is rounded, which means that the lips are rounded rather than square or relaxed. Mid-central vowel. Is a vowel backness is central, which means the tongue is positioned halfway between a front vowel and a back vowel. It is unrounded, which means that the lips are not rounded. Is a vowel height is mid, which means the tongue is positioned halfway between a closed vowel and an open vowels, and close from unrounded vowel. Is a vowel backness, it's a frown, which means that the tongue is positioned forward in the mouth without creating a correction that would be classified as a consonant. It is rounded, which means that the lips are not rounded. Is a vowel height is close, also known as height, which means the tongue is positioned close the roof of the mouth without creating a contraction that would be classified as a consonant. And the next, phonetic. Mid-central vowel. It is a vowel height is mid, which means the tongue is a positioned halfway between a closed vowel and an open vowel. It is rounded, which means that the lips are not rounded. It is vowel backness is central, which means the tongue is positioned halfway between a front vowel and back vowel, close mid-front and vowel. Its vowel height is the close mid, also known as high mid, which means the tongue is positioned halfway between close vowel and high vowel and a mid vowel. Its vowel backness is a front, which means the tongue is positioned forward in the mouth without creating a contraction. That vowel be classified as a consonant, and it it is unrounded, which means that the lips are not rounded, and near close for unrounded vowel. Is a vowel height is near close, which means the tongue is not quite so contracted as a close vowel high vowel, and its vowel backness is front, which means the tongue is positioned forward in the mouth without creating and contraction. That would be classed as a consonant. It is rounded, which means that the lips are not rounded. And the next is phoneme, mid-central vowel. Its vowel height is mid, which means that the tongue is positioned halfway between a closed vowel and open vowel. It is rounded, which means that the lips are not rounded. It is vowel backness is central, which means that the tongue is positioned halfway between between uh, I mean its vowel backness is a central, which means the tongue positioned halfway between a front vowel and a back vowel. Near back rounded vowel. Its vowel height is a near close, which means the tongue is not quite so constricted as a close vowel high vowel. Its vowel backness is back, which means the tongue is positioned back in the mouth without creating a constriction. That would be classified as a consonant. Is a roughness is produced, which means that the corner is the lip in the rough together and inner surface exposed. Close front and breath vowel. Is a vowel height is a close, also known as height, which means the tongue is positioned close to the roof of the mouth without creating contraction. That would be classified as consonant. It is unrounded, which means that the lips are not rounded. Is a vowel backness is a frown, which means that the tongue is positioned forward in the mouth without creating contraction. That would be classified as consonant. And I think that's all from me. Thank you for your attention, sir, and see you next meeting. Bye.